Okay, so let's see. So I'm at Lisa's house, the Kiwis, the New Zealand family. They rescued me. And so I knew once I was at her house and talking to her and talking with her husband and shoot, even talking with the kids, because the kids have, they had their own stories and things about, their time in New Zealand because, everyone's adjusting. And it's like it really just dawned on me, like, okay, number one, you have to get your physical health back up and get stronger. Number two, you have to get out of this situation. So those are the first two things I focused on. So I just started drinking a lot of water. I mean, I did have that glass of wine, but ooh, no, it was great because wine is very hard to get here and it's very expensive. But anyway, so, after that glass of wine, I just started drinking water, and just kind of, I mean, even like throughout the night, I don't care if I had to like keep getting up to go to the bathroom, but just like flushing everything out. I was taking my supplements. Thanks, Rebecca. Oh, thank you so much. My acupuncturist. If you don't know anything about supplements or acupuncture, go to our website, mawuangels.com, and click on radio shows. And we did 2 interviews with Rebecca before I moved, and it's just excellent information. And so I just like took my supplements and was like drinking this water and just really trying to eat clean, veggies and fruits, and just getting rest. And I would just allow my body to rest when it could, because at the same time it's like I'm thinking like, how am I going to get away from this guy? I got to get away from this guy. And then it's like, oh my God, like this guy is crazy. Like, how did I not see this? And then it's like you got your ego and your mind kind of like, just being mean and everything, kind of like, oh, way to go, you really messed this one up, just kind of like all these things were happening, so it's like I would sleep maybe 2 hours, and then I would just like get up, maybe like just be up and writing some notes or something, or like checking my email, or and then the United States is 12 hours behind. So then a lot of times when I needed help, like if I needed to ask like my best friend something, like she could shoot an email somewhere, or like talk about a strategy, exit strategy or something, she would be getting up or I'd be going to sleep. I didn't want to tell my parents about everything that was happening because honestly they couldn't do anything, I mean, like it would just be me bitching and complaining to them, and I didn't want to worry them, and they had their own stuff going on, like with our cat, because she was sick at the time. So anyway, it was just like a lot happening, and I was just kind of like, okay, like it's up to me. So then the next morning I decided to get up, and we had breakfast, which was fun. Lisa's husband, like, he made pancakes, and we all ate and just kind of like chatted, and it was just really interesting. We had some good family time. They like just adopted me like I'm part of their family. And then they left to go take a bike ride, and the kids were just chilling out. And then I was like, well, you know what? Let me go swimming. And so then I just like put on my swimsuit and just jumped in the water. It was like the first, I think it was the second time I've been swimming since I've been here. And I just like jumped in the water and it felt so good. I mean, I still was feeling a little sick, but I just needed that, just to kind of like a baptism or something, and just like have water and just be immersed, And then I think I got out, took a shower and everything, washed my hair, so it was like slowly I started feeling a little bit better, but I was still not, not quite there. So she had said I could stay, like spend the night, and then I think she did tell me like, oh, if you need to stay a second night, that's cool. And I was like, okay, if I could just stay the weekend, that would be great. And then again, like we had a wonderful dinner and like great conversation, and like it turns out that her family are and his family are some like the original like indigenous people of New Zealand, which I thought was just incredibly amazing. And and then she was asking about my lineage, and I could kind of, tell her a little bit, because I think that the way it came up was because she was saying she has some Irish in her family, and I was like, oh my God, so do we. Like, we have Irish on my mom's side of the family, and like my grandma, like she's born with like red hair, green eyes, naturally and everything, and then her brother, he was born with like blue eyes, and You know, it skipped up my mom's generation and me or whatever. But we were just kind of just talking, and then she somehow, well, in talking about the lineage, slavery came up, and that blew her mind. You know, when I was telling her just about how, you know, African Americans can only go back so far because of the slave trade, and how families were split up, and how, you know, people, you know, black people weren't even considered people. You know, like they were like chattel and, you know, just property. So how you have to kind of go back and look at these slave records to even find out, to trace your lineage and everything. So that just blew her mind and everything. And but it was so cool, and she had these like amazing photos of her, like of the you know, like the original indigenous people of New Zealand, and how she could like go back and trace to her grandfather's tribe, and just all the spirituality connected to it. So we had such a great conversation. And her children are amazing. I mean, they're just very like well adjusted and grounded, you know, to be living in this other country. And, you know, they have their own tales of adventures and things that happened to them in school. And I mean, I just have never, I don't know. I mean, they were just very impressive. I mean, you just don't meet children like that all the time by any means, you know. And so, yeah, it was like everybody was just vibing. Like we were all like, dang, I can't believe like we're getting along like this. Like you would think that we all knew each other, you know. And so that was kind of cool. So then I think at that point is when I, you know, in talking to them, you know, I was kind of like, yeah, I need to get out of here. I mean, I need to get out of this situation. And I mean, it's not easy because there's all these visa issues, you know, when you're coming to this other country. You know, you can be on a visitor visa. You can be on a business visa. You can be on an extended stay visa. You might have to leave the country and come back in under another visa. I mean, every country is different, you know, and a lot of times it depends on what country you're from, and so much goes into it, you know, and there's a lot of red tape, and, you know, it's a real process. And Indonesia has like one of the most difficult visa processes, I think, ever. I mean, seriously, like it's really one of the worst, honestly. I mean, in the United States, I mean, you can pretty much travel and get visas most places, you know, in the world, but it's pretty hard here. It's pretty difficult. So it's like I just couldn't just leave the country, or I mean, I didn't want to go back to the United States. Like that was just really wasn't an option. It's like I gave up too much and changed too much of my life, and this is what I wanted to do. So I had to figure out, like, okay, how am I going to do this, you know? So then I went and got on to the website, my expat website, which I love, Another Lifesaver. And I just started putting feelers out. I mean, there were people who, like, I had posted some questions, and, you know, some of the same people answered them. And I was always very gracious and appreciative when they did. So I would always reply back, and, you know, things like that. And a few people had reached out to me and said, you know, let me know when you get here, and, you know, stuff like that. So that's kind of when, yeah, the table started to turn once I got to Lisa's house. But now it was on. Now is when I went into what I call survivor mode. And if anyone has ever seen the show Survivor, it's about outwit, outplay, and outlast. And that's exactly what I did